What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel for our Week 1 game previews. Guys, let's go. I'm your host, Dylan Clemens, here with me as they will be every Friday night throughout the season. Michael Plant and Ike Bonney, what's going on, my friends? How are you feeling now that we are in Week 1?
I'm excited, finally.
I know you say that, but I know Ike's reluctant to be here every week.
Come on. It's at least the first week. I got to try the first time.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's excited. He's excited to be here.
By about week 10, I'll start trailing off, and then week 17, 18, it's like, God damn.
Right on,
It's
right
like,
on.
Is this damn well over with? Like,
but to keep Ike interested, let's just jump right into it. But before we do, just to remind you guys to please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you aren't subscribed already. And then head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans to check out our memberships. Join our Discord. We're talking start sit. We're talking still MLB DFS, NFL DFS. Just get in there. You can talk to
You really want to get in there to talk with Detroit Beastie, aka Chris Robbins. We brought him onto the squad. Well, Joe brought him onto the squad. Help out with Dave Eddy with the DFS content. And let me tell you, it is worth the price of admission getting to be able to talk to them about DFS lineups.
Don't forget about the award-winning rankings, too.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
They don't win you money. They just win. They just win you championships.
I mean, it could be for money, too, if you're in that league for money.
That's fair. That's fair. Completely fair.
Agreed.
But go on, Dylan.
Yeah, well, let's just jump right into it, guys, with our first matchup here. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are +6 on the road versus the Minnesota Vikings. And Ike, I'm going to start with you. The biggest question mark with this Tampa Bay offense is the quarterback. I think we can agree on. Do you think Baker is going to be good enough to keep these wideouts fantasy relevant in this game and in this season?
This is probably one of the better chances he has to make both of the wide receivers relevant because it's the Vikings, but I'm worried about Mike Evans. Obviously, Baker Mayfield doesn't like to throw deep. You can see that with Odell. His career 7.2 yards per attempt is evident of that. And basically, Mike Evans goes deep. His is around 10. So I don't expect Mike Evans to do very well, but Chris Godwin should be fine.
Yeah, I like Godwin in the slot in this offense, in this matchup as well against Minnesota. But we should probably touch on Mike Evans is pissed off right now because his contract situation.
I totally forgot about that too.
It doesn't sound like Tampa Bay has any interest in extending him at this moment, which
he should go to Jets.
I was gonna say, I don't really blame them though, guys. Right there, you can tell that this team's kind of transitioning into a different direction, and I'm not sure Mike Evans really needs to be a part of their future.
I mean, come to me when he's in Jonathan Taylor's status. I mean,
it might get close.
I get it. Like Mike Evans is one of the most consistent receivers. 8 straight seasons. What is it, of 1,000 yards, 7?
Right.
Just this is not a good quarterback for that.
You're right. It's not. He is strictly a deep ball or a red zone threat. He's not a run after the catch type of guy like Godwin, and he's not going to play the slot like Godwin, where Baker Mayfield likes to throw the ball, or to the running back in Rachaad White. So, I mean, Mike Evans is going to have his spike weeks probably even more than usual. Yeah. But honestly, I really do think he still gets to 1,000 yards. They're going to will him to 1,000 yards.
I don't know.
That would be 10 straight, right?
Yeah, 8 or 9. Yeah, it would definitely be interesting. But before we jump over to the Vikings, I just want to ask you about how you feel about Rachaad White and kind of where you have him situated in your rankings with Sean Tucker getting that RB2 role. Do you think he's going to eat into his touches?
I'm not worried about Rachaad White running at all because Baker loves, like Michael Plant said, loves to throw the running back. Granted, C-Mac is a lot better of a receiving back than Rachaad White, but he threw to C-Mac 7 times when he was in Carolina through those, 5 games he was with him or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think Rachaad White can easily see 5 to 6, and obviously he's going to get the carries on the ground. So I would start him with full confidence. Top 15, top 20 running back.
Yeah, very solid matchup against Minnesota's soft defense as well. But, Mike, let's jump over to the good part of the Minnesota team, and that's their offense. And Man, the last 2 years, everyone just loved Madison as a handcuff. And, he was a smash RB1 play every time he got the chance when Dalvin Cook was out. But now that he's the full-time starter, everyone's just like kind of, we're drafting him at like RB 20 or so. I'm curious to your thoughts here on how he's going to shake out in this matchup against the Bucs.
Well, I mean, you kind of said it right there a little bit. I mean, it's the matchup for me. Diving into this one, and what, Dalvin Cook got last year for this offense, like it's just a bad matchup. Like the Bucs allowed just 19.3 points per game to running backs last year, which was 7th best, out of all teams. For comparison, the 49ers were obviously number 1, and they allowed 16.3 points per game to running back. So only a 3-point difference. All right. So the Bucs can stop the run, and it's just, they're so bad on the back end of the secondary. So you can pass on them. And that's why realistically, in my opinion, nobody runs against them. But here's the thing. Madison is going to just get so much projected volume here if he really does assume the full Dalvin Cook role. Last year, Dalvin Cook was 6th in rushing attempts, 15 in targets for running backs, 17th in receptions, 3rd in red zone attempts inside the 5-yard line. So
he's got no one behind him.
Exactly. And if he really does get that role, I mean, Madison is going to be playable just based on the volume, but just don't expect a very high week this week until he gets a little bit better of a match.
They might throw a lot, the Vikings.
Yeah, I think that's what their game plan is going to be in this week. And Ike, nice segue right there. And we're talking about Jordan Addison in this offense now. He was kind of the big offseason acquisition through the draft. I think he's kind of in line to be maybe being the third target getter to start, and then maybe outplaying Hockenson as the season goes on. But Mike, do you have confidence in starting Jordan Addison from the get-go here in a solid matchup that you kind of alluded to against the Bucs?
Rookie wide receivers typically start off slow. Let's be real. All right. But there's 107 vacant targets from this offense with Thielen leaving. All right. They drafted him in the first round. It's obvious they want him to have the Thielen role. All right. So, I mean, 107 targets, that's a decent amount for a rookie. So, the reason rookies start off slow is because they got to integrate into the offense. It already sounds like they have a plan for Addison in this offense. So there is a role here, and I think he's a all right flex option out the gate, unlike most wide receivers, because you're looking at the potential number 2 target in this offense, depending on how much they start. Well, and I think Addison's going to overtake it. Just
eventually, yeah.
Well, I mean, they said that with Justin Jefferson when whoever the previous person was ahead of him, and then he just completely smashed. So, no, it was actually somebody else. I can't even remember his name. Chad Beebe, I think it was. But so
BC Johnson, I think.
There you go. BC Johnson was ahead of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
But here's the thing: he's a rookie wide receiver, so there's a wide range of outcomes here for his first actual game in the NFL. I don't have a high confidence level, but I'm willing to throw him in the flex for this week to see how he does. And then, if he has a good week, all right, he's a solid flex play kind of moving forward until he proves us otherwise.
You probably shouldn't be starting him in like a 10 team though. Yeah, I feel like
in a flex spot, that's fine. In a flex, like if you're playing him as one of your 2 or 3 wide receivers, then I'd be a little
time to worry. You better hope you have like really
go trade whatever you stocked up on the draft for a wide receiver depth.
And then before we move on to our next game, we wanted to do a little something different in here. We're actually going to pick the winners of the games against the spread, guys. And I said earlier, Minnesota is favored by 6 points in this game at home. Who you guys taking in this one?
I mean, I'd take Minnesota. And I'd honestly take them to probably – well, I don't know if I'd take them to cover it because of how many close games they had last year.
So then you're taking Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm just taking Tampa Bay straight.
No, I'm going Vikings. No chance.
I'm going Vikings to cover as well. Hopefully we keep track of this. Maybe. We'll see.
That's why I don't do this, because I don't do bets like this.
But jumping into our next game, I'm excited about this game, fellas, here. We got San Francisco 49ers favored by 2.5 points on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Before we jump into this, do you want to comment on Stevenson if he's going to play, because you were the one that when I sent you the update about him, it's like, man, he's just got the shits. He'll be fine.
Yeah, everything sounds good, my friend. He's just got a stomach bug, hopefully. Yeah.
You might have to go to the bathroom during the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, man, he might pull a Lamar Jackson and
have to use the cart to the bathroom, but he should be good to go. He should be good to go. But jumping back into it, Ike, this 49ers offense, Brock Purdy is just set up for so much success because of all the weapons here. But one of these weapons on this offense, I feel like, is going to be left out in the cold any week in particular, but this week as well. Who do you think that player is?
Every week probably could be a different guy. Other than C-Mac, obviously he's probably fine to ride with. But I could go the easy route and say George Kittle because he's got that injury he's dealing with and he's questionable. Even if he does play, he might be limited. So I would probably watch that pretty closely. But this might be because I'm biased, maybe a little bit. But I would probably say Debo. He's not really much of the touchdown threat. I would say Brandon Ayuk is. He had, I'm pretty sure, I didn't look at it, he had like 8 to 10 touchdowns last year compared to Debo's like 2 to 5. So I would rather have Ayuk over Debo starting in most leagues. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's just you in general because you're all over Ayuk.
Not really all over Ayuk. I just don't think Debo's that good.
If you guys are on TikTok, go look at Ike's TikTok that he made from last year, and you're gonna see he was all over Ayuk last year too.
And look how he did. He was a wide receiver 15.
Debo it really worries me.
It's just the amount of weapons, honestly. That's the concerning part because it's
with Kittle possibly being out.
How big of a passing pie is there really going to be in this offense?
I do gotta say this is the Steelers too, so this could be a very low scoring game. Right. Honestly, I wouldn't really want to start much people in this offense other than C-Mac.
Ooh, that's saying something, man, if you're willing to sit Debo and stuff. But I'm honestly not a huge fan of him either because, Mike, as you alluded, how big is this going to be, this passing pie? And he's not getting the carries with C-Mac here with a healthy Elijah Mitchell. So his matchup against Pittsburgh really does worry me here. But yes, like you said, if Kittle can't go, then it's wheels up for all these guys. I feel like I'm okay going with everybody, but still tempering expectations.
Still a tough matchup for him.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a tough matchup for both sides.
Yeah. But jumping over to the other side, Mike, how do you feel about how this backfield will shake out in this one for the Steelers? Because man, oh man, Jaylen Warren's getting a lot of hype, and we're still not sure if Najee Harris is good at football. Let's just keep it like that. I'm curious to hear your thoughts here.
I mean, it just honestly sounds like you just described to me Kadarius Toney. He got a lot of hype in the offseason, and we don't even know if he's good at football because he can't catch the ball. And Najee's already done more than Kadarius Toney. So, I mean, Jamie, this is good timing. He put up here, he goes, do you think Najee would be all right against the Niners? I see 50 yards, maybe 1 to 2 catches, maybe a touchdown. Am I too low? Honestly, I mean, yeah, the yards aren't going to probably be there. It's going to be ugly.
You guys talked about it on the show last night, Mike, with Chris Allen, and how many people rushed over 100 yards against this 49ers defense.
A big fat 0.
Yeah.
They didn't allow a total of 1,000 rushing yards to all the running backs they played.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
last year. That's how good the run defense was.
Man, that's really
so
good.
The yards are probably not going to be there, but here's the thing that I think you're kind of like galaxy braining it a little bit, because think about it. If the Niners pass defense gets to Kenny Pickett, he has no time to throw to Pickens or Johnson. Maybe Freiermuth or the dump off out of the backfield and Najee Harris. So this is a game where I wouldn't be surprised if you see like 10 targets for Najee Harris just because
not that much.
Well, just because Kenny Pickett doesn't have the time. All right. But here's the thing. I'm all on Najee Harris. He's a model. You guys don't know if he's good. He's a model of consistency. In his first 2 seasons, he had 1,000+ rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns in both seasons, 40+ receptions, 225+ receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns each year. And
but he didn't look good last year.
And you're telling me he's not good?
It's just the efficiency. He's not good on the efficiency.
I understand that. And how good is this offensive line? The offensive line plays into that efficiency.
Should be better this year.
should be better. Again, more hype. We have to actually see it if the line is better, but we know the line is not good.
Plus,
it's not
Jalen
a Detroit
Warren's a
Lions
problem.
offensive line where Najee Harris is going to get 2 yards before he's even touched.
Yeah.
You keep forgetting about Jalen Warren, though.
It'll be interesting to see.
No, I'm not forgetting about him.
You just really lean Najee, and it's not really going to be a close split, huh?
Here's the thing. If you're looking at the running back market in the NFL right now, nobody wants to pay a running back because of the amount of wear and tear they have on them. So why would they not run Najee Harris into the ground before his rookie contract is up, let him go, and then they can move on to Jalen Warren because he's not going to have any tread on the tires.
Because like Dylan said, he might not be good.
Yeah, it might not work.
How do we know Jalen Warren is good? Jalen Warren hasn't even accumulated the stats Najee Harris has.
But
he looks more explosive.
He's been more efficient.
But has he looked like this is a different team, but like Zeke to Pollard? Like, has he been that type of difference maker?
Actually, that could be what they end up being like.
Mm-hmm. But is Jalen Warren anything not like
as
Pollard?
Close, but like
exactly
Jalen Warren maybe half of that.
Like we're talking about Jalen Warren, who has, I believe, a 4th or 3rd round draft capital, and then Najee Harris as a 1st rounder. So,
but I feel like that 1st round draft capital is going to be running out here pretty quick if he doesn't become more efficient. But we got to keep steering this ship.
I get that, but let's be honest. I will just end it on this. Can you say just safely that this offense the past 2 years hasn't been efficient at all? Not just the running game, but just the offense in general. So can you blame Najee for that if it's the offense altogether?
No, hopefully the offense is better. But just to touch on the Steelers, one more thing, man, as George Pickens got some hype this offseason. But he did not see the volume like we were just talking about. He did not see the volume that we like to see from wide receivers. And do you expect that to increase this season, Mike?
I 100% believe in the talent of George Pickens. The dude is a dog. But the opportunity's not there. I'm sorry. He's got Deontay Johnson in front of him who's going to be battling with targets for Pat Freiermuth. And like I said, I'm on Najee Harris as being probably like the 3rd option, honestly, in the passing game. Maybe the 4th option, fighting back and forth with George Pickens. Pickens is a deep threat. Now, granted, he's a really good deep threat. Mm-hmm. But you can't make a living off deep threats in fantasy football. You need consistency. You need volume. Yeah. You can get away with this.
But every time Pickett throws it just up to him, it works, man. It's crazy.
Wasn't it Dylan? I think you listened to this Ringer podcast episode, but I wanted to say that they said that George Pickens also has tiny ass hands, just like Kenny Pickett. So like these two have the combination of like the tiniest QB wide receiver hand combo, and yet they still can throw deep passes. So like he's gonna have those spike weeks, but it's like, have fun trying to predict when it is. I can tell you, though, going against the Niners, that spike week ain't this week.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree there. But before we move on, guys, I just want to mention that Kenny Pickett's passing touchdown prop is set at 17.5 this year. And doesn't that feel just awfully low? I feel like that needs to be an absolute
hit 20
smash.
That sounds like a Baker.
There's 18 games.
That sounds like a Baker Mayfield fucking over/under.
Dude, it's just crazy to me.
You got to start it. You got to think about it. Kenny Pickett only threw 8 touchdown passes last year.
Yeah,
like 9 games. So they're just kind of banking off that.
It's going up.
It has to. There's touchdown regression in the positive direction.
But before we move on, who you guys taking in this one? The Steelers are getting 2.5 at home, and that's who I'm taking. I like the Steelers in this one.
I think it'll be a field goal deciding game. So, yeah, I'll take the Steelers to cover.
I'll go for it.
We do have a question, though, before we move on.
Sure.
Albert, he needs an RB2, so let's help him out. Javonte Williams or James Cook, full point PPR?
Ooh.
It's not a good matchup for James Cook against the Eagles.
Go Javonte, man. The dude, Peyton said they want to use him.
And
I don't trust it.
Right?
I know you. Yeah, he does play the Raiders. I don't.
I just send it, Mike. Mike, no, just send it.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm going James Cook. I'm sorry, Albert. I can't make it a clean sweep. Javonte Williams is coming off a multi-ligament. He's coming off a multi-ligament injury. I gotta see.
People can come back from it.
First. Yes, you're not wrong, but I got to see it first before I just plug him into my RB2 spot.
That's fair. That's fair.
They got Samaje Perine there, and Sean Payton loves to run 2 running backs. So, one little tweak of Javonte Williams' knee, and all of a sudden Samaje Perine's in there for 60% of the carries.
Don't put that voodoo on him.
You put that voodoo on Kelsey for me this year, so
I'm sorry on that. I definitely did that.
I will put the voodoo there.
Let's keep it moving, guys. Our next game here, we got the Houston Texans going on the road, getting 10 points against the Baltimore Ravens. C.J. Stroud's first start of his NFL career.
Not the first team you want to face when you're a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, the Baltimore's defense is a little banged up, though, so we'll see. And I feel like
it's
they're
still good
a little bit, but I feel like they're gonna do some things that are gonna confuse the rookie. I agree. So with that said, I think we like Dameon Pierce. We think he's fine in this matchup.
Sure.
You drafted him late enough. You could start him here. But anyone else in this Texans offense, are you okay starting?
Not really. You don't really know who the number 1 wide receiver is or who really the first option is in the target game. You can say Dalton Schultz. So, I mean.
Could be Nico Collins.
There are. He did look good in camp and preseason, but I mean, tight end is kind of brutal right now with some guys being injured or possibly not playing, like Darren Waller, George Kittle, and Mark Andrews is even hurt, and obviously Kelsey didn't play, so Dalton Schultz would be a fine plug and play, I guess.
Yeah, and I think Nico Collins is worth a stash on the bench.
Sure, but in the first game against the Ravens?
Yeah, I agree. You're not starting him, but if he gets like 6, 7, 8 targets, I'm doing the waiver wire article and video this year. Don't be surprised if he's in that article in the first week if he comes out and has a decent week against a decent defense, like you guys are saying. But yeah, I think we can move on to the Ravens and jump into you, Mike. And man, I really just want you to.
I'd rather you skip to me. I don't want you to, jump to me.
Nope, I'm jumping, going all.
I'm not catching you.
I want you to plant your damn flag on one of these wideouts for this matchup and rest of the season.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but I'm not answering this question the way you want me to answer it. But go on if you want to continue.
I'm not going on. Answer the question I asked you.
All right. So, I mean, it's hard to plant a flag on any of these receivers. All right. But I'm going to give you this. For this matchup this week, I plant my flag on Odell Beckham. Yes, he popped up on the injury list with an ankle injury. But to be honest with you, I mean, he has the most offseason reps with Lamar over Bateman and Flowers because he signed before Flowers ever got drafted and signed his rookie contract. Bateman's been injured this whole offseason pretty much, so he hasn't been in training camp at all. All right, so ODB has the most offseason reps with Lamar in this new offensive scheme. So there has to be some chemistry built over there. And ODB, let's just be honest, is an easy wide receiver to create chemistry with. All right, unless your name is Baker Mayfield. I never said he was a good route runner.
Come on.
Oh, don't do that again. Keep going. Keep making your point.
He's the one talking.
I don't want to hear it. Keep going.
But if I'm being honest, technically, Odell Beckham has the freshest legs over Bateman and Flowers. Like, he hasn't played in over a year and a half. And yes, I know it's been an injury, but he also hasn't added any more wear and tear. Like, in that whole year and a half, Bateman's been injured how many times? And Flowers has been playing, snaps in college. So there's wear and tear right there. So realistically, he is the freshest out of these guys. But rest of season, my head says Flowers because of the rookie wide receiver breakout in the second half of the season. That's just bound to happen. It always happens.
He looks good too.
He does. He does.
Very shifty.
But he's learning an NFL offense, and he's also learning a new offensive scheme that's never been in the NFL before. So that's where my concern is.
Sure.
Now, my heart wants Bateman, but he can't remain fucking healthy.
Yeah, we got to see it.
But here's the thing, though. We got to just see him be healthy. We've seen it on the field with him because when it came to third downs and red zone, Bateman was the guy Lamar targeted with Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
All right. But again, we got to see him be healthy first. And Bateman hasn't been practicing after that Liz Frank injury he suffered last year. So, like, he is still recovering from that. So it's like, if he can't get healthy this year, give me Flowers. But if he is healthy, it's Bateman.
Sure. And then, Mike, 30 seconds on the running back room here. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to smash this week in a great matchup against the Texans. How do you feel?
Jamie's giving me some shit, and it's completely due.
Hey,
you're not wrong.
Dissing Odell, all right?
But so about the backfield, J.K. Dobbins is the lead back. Gus Edwards might vulture some touchdowns here and there, but he's clearly, I think he's like 28, 29. He's coming off an injury as well. So I don't think Edwards is going to get that much volume. It's Dobbins. It's just how much of Dobbins.
I think it's Dobbins is going to smash this week. I could see 15 touches, a couple touchdowns.
Well, yeah, the Texans were terrible at defending the run last year, along with the Bears.
Dude, he's going to average like 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wish you guys had your rankings up right now because I wanted to ask you where you have him ranked. Like, I think he should be top 15.
I have him top 25. I know that for sure.
You got to move him down, man. He's got to be, or move him down or higher. He's got to be close. He's got to be, closer to 1.
He's going to be closer to 1.
Closer to 1.
One thing, Michael Plant, I do got to say, Zay Flowers is going to learn some pretty good route running skills from Odell.
Oh, God.
I have Dobbins at 15 for this week.
I think that's a good spot for him, Mike. But before we move on, who do you guys got in this game? Houston's getting 10 on the road, but I'm still going to go the Ravens against the rookie quarterback.
I go Ravens, yeah. I think they're going to smash.
All right, clean sweep there. Our next game here, we got a battle in the AFC South. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Introduce it, but Dean did have a question for us.
All right.
And we got
the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are favored by 5 points against the Indianapolis Colts, guys. So what do we got for a question here, Mike?
All right. Dean wants to know, Odell Beckham Jr. or Jacoby Myers this week?
Give me Odell here and that. Yep. I just don't see a ton of upside with Jacoby Myers.
I'm a clean sweep on that one as well. Raiders play the Broncos, and the Broncos have a good secondary, where Houston does not.
Perfect.
All right.
We love this Jacksonville offense. Out of all the playmakers for Jacksonville, though, who is the one guy likely to take a dip in production in this
one? This is a tough one because you don't really know who's going to play the slot unless one of you know for sure.
Yeah. No, what if Zay Jones is just the starting wide receiver with 2 wide receiver sets?
He probably is.
And Kirk could just be in the slot where he's been better throughout his career, but he just might not get the same amount of snaps as he wants.
But that's where Calvin Ridley is good at, though.
I don't see Ridley lining up in the slot a ton. I really don't.
He's good there. That's where he thrives. But
Ridley's going to line up wherever the hell he wants.
I agree that he's obviously the alpha. Like I have here, 25+% target share when he was last playing. He was a wide receiver 5. So, he is the alpha receiver compared to Christian Kirk, who we know was gifted the number 1 wide receiver spot in a good
and with this
good offense last year.
This show loved him last year and during draft.
Yeah.
By the way, we told you.
So if I had to say a guy who would take a dip is probably Christian Kirk, but I think Evan Ingram takes a dip too.
Buckshots here, guys.
Nice.
True.
Just don't be betting on games, even though there's DraftKings and FanDuel.
Bet on college. Bet on college.
Everywhere, yeah. And don't do it in the facility. Can't do it in the facility.
But I say it depends who plays the slot because Kenny Moore plays the slot, and he is a fantastic corner. So whoever gets that slot spot might have a tougher time than the guys on the outside where the Colts outside corners aren't necessarily that great.
That's why I agree with you. Like, I think Christian Kirk is the fade this week out of these pass catchers. But before we jump over to the Colts, I just want you to touch on this whole Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby running back committee that could be shaking out, or how do you feel about that? I don't
think it'll be a true committee till a little bit later, but right now Etienne's going to get most of the work. They do like Tank as the receiving back for some reason. Even though Etienne is better at it, or I thought was better at it, I also think Tank might get more of the goal line.
Yeah, I agree that Tank would get the goal line. You just got to get the ball to ETN, though, man. Just because he's so explosive.
They want to use him because Doug
They
Pearson said 1,500 yards is what he expects from ETN. So you got to give him at least 250 carries then.
I'm definitely intrigued to see what his workload looks like. But Mike, jumping over to the Colts, and man,
what I tell you about jumping?
This offense is definitely
an
interesting one heading into this week with a rookie quarterback and then no Jonathan Taylor. What's your take here on this backfield with no JT?
My take is it sucks that Jonathan Taylor can't get paid because he deserves it. I know how the landscape is, but let's be honest, guys. I mean, the quarterbacks they've had the past 3 years wouldn't even have been. We'd be talking about how much worse they were if they did not have Jonathan Taylor. All right, he has been their offense. So I'm not starting a running back from this offense until Taylor comes back because
I wouldn't start anybody.
I mean, I'd start Richardson, I guess, depending on how desperate you are. Super flex leagues, all that fun jazz. Because Richardson's the red zone running back in this offense. So even if you get a running,
good segue. Keep going on Richardson here.
So even if you get Deion Jackson in the red zone, sorry, he's probably getting vultured by Richardson. And there's not going to be many targets going to these running backs in this offense either.
Yeah, when we saw Deion Jackson really thrive last year was when he was catching a bunch of dump offs from Matt Ryan and Sam Ellinger or whoever the hell it was at that time. But with Richardson as a mobile quarterback, which I think you're going to say, Mike, it's probably not checking down a whole lot.
No, I mean, look at Justin Fields, look at Jalen Hurts. I mean,
Lamar,
Josh Allen, Lamar. I mean, these guys. I mean, they can if they want to, but no, they want to run. They want to get the
instead of dumping it off, they'll run because they'll get more yards, like a Justin Fields will break a 60-yard touchdown or field.
I get it though. It is because here's the thing: why would you want to throw it 2 yards
when you could go get 6 with your legs?
When you
throw for 2, get 5.
When you watch somebody like Kadarius Toney get one right off the fucking hands,
right?
And it's that easy to get a pick off of that. All that's got to do is happen once, and Lamar's like, "Yeah, I'm never passing the dump off again." So,
yeah, I agree. But I think you would like to wait and see on Richardson the first week, but I have no problem if you're trotting. Excuse me, if you're trotting him out there because of his rushing upside. So if you're feeling,
I guess it's against the Jaguars, so sure.
Their defense isn't spectacular. So what if this turns into a little bit of a shootout? Because Jacksonville's going to score in this game. What if Indy's? You
think Anthony Richardson, who had a college completion percentage of 58%, can get in a shootout with Trevor Lawrence?
But what if he's just running everywhere, though? That's the thing. What if he's just making plays?
At some point, you think you can stop him, right? And make him throw?
Yeah.
I would make him throw every time. Spy him every single play. 2 guys.
You trust this Jacksonville defense against them then?
Yes.
All right. Right on. Who you guys taking in this one? Jacksonville is favored by 5 on the road. I'm going Jacksonville.
Yes. Jacksonville.
Mike, you are muted. Man, come on. First time.
I'm typing. I'm doing stuff behind the scenes. So, yes, I'm 100% on the Jags. They're one of my sleeper picks to actually go pretty deep in a playoff run this year. I really like the weapons they have. So, yeah, I think they blow out Indianapolis, and they honestly win this division easily.
Right on.
Easily, huh?
Easily.
Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the New Orleans Saints. The Titans are getting 3 points on the road against the Saints. I'm kind of intrigued by this game a little bit. I don't know why, but I think this one's going to be kind of
I'm surprised Titans get 3.
Good, solid game. Yeah, man, people like the Saints. But let's talk. I want to talk the Titans with you, and I want to talk DeAndre Hopkins in particular. He was a volume hog in the Cardinals offense the last few years with Kyler Murray just chucking him the football. I'm curious to see if he's going to get that kind of volume with Tennessee, who is notoriously a run-first offense, obviously, with Derrick Henry. I'm curious your thoughts.
So I wouldn't expect the 10 targets a game he was getting with the Cardinals or even the Texans, but somewhere in the range of 6 to 8.
Joe does.
entirely. Wait, really?
Joe likes DeAndre Hopkins a lot.
Joe loves DeAndre
I
Hopkins
expect 6
this year.
to 8 because last time Tannehill had a alpha wide receiver was A.J. Brown, and that was a couple of years ago.
But that's Hopkins. That's what Hopkins is known for, is having the volume. If he doesn't have the volume, I don't know if he's going to be that great. You know what I mean?
Right. Anyways, Tannehill still can produce a top 24 wide receiver, which is where Hopkins was drafted. So I would be starting him with confidence as wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 spot. He's not going to be as great as he was, but he's still going to give you good solid numbers.
At this point, do you think it's more on Tannehill as the quarterback in the offense, or do you think DeAndre Hopkins just isn't quite the guy he once was?
I still think he's talented. You saw it last year when he came back. He still got targeted insanely, and that was with Kyler, who was struggling with throwing the ball, and whoever else was throwing at him. So
it was a spread offense, though. That was why it's like it was a spread offense he was playing in.
Yeah, that's why I was getting
run
10
first offense.
plus targets a game. I think DeAndre Hopkins can survive with 7 targets a game.
Yeah,
catch 5 of them.
And he's going to be the red zone threat in this offense, obviously, outside of Derrick Henry, of course, in the past.
Sure, yeah.
Yep, outside of that manimal.
Depends on Treylon Burks, too. If he actually is what they thought he was when he drafted, he could be.
Report. He is off the injury report, too, so he's supposed to
play. Treylon Burks, for me, he's just not someone you should be starting in 10 or 12 team leagues this week. I feel like your roster should be deep enough to the point where you don't really need him, and you just kind of have him on your bench as a wait-and-see type of guy. You guys agree?
Yes.
Yes, but can I say this just real quick? All right,
sure.
So, I've been, harping on this all off-season, or maybe not all off-season, since Hopkins got, signed. If you look at the Tennessee offense and how they run their offense, they have had success at wide receivers that can run after the catch. A.J. Brown. Good one we've had. But, look at an example like Robert Woods, who's kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins. I hate comparing him, but they are kind of the same, receiver possession-wise.
I think Hopkins can run deeper routes.
So, it's a run after the catch game for me that in this offense, and I am lagging, and I apologize.
Okay, just keep going, keep talking. Don't just stop in the middle.
I didn't know if I was cutting in and out, so I didn't know if I was cutting in and out, so I didn't want to
It really is your first time. Yeah, just keep going.
No, you shut it. You shut it. But yeah, this offense is predicated after run after the catch, yards after the catch. And A.J. Brown is the shining example of, what a receiver can be in this offense with a run after the catch, where Hopkins is more of the possession receiver, the red zone threat, the third down receiver, where that's what we thought Robert Woods was going to be in this offense. He wasn't the run after the catch guy. He was the possession guy. He was the red zone guy. And that kind of faded. Now, granted, DeAndre Hopkins is much more talented at this point in his career than Robert Woods, but he's still 31 years old.
Alphas get their targets, man. Robert Woods obviously is not an alpha. That's why he didn't get his stuff.
Guys,
DeAndre Hopkins, that guy.
I'm just so excited to find out all these storylines after week 1, just to see the target shares, the snap share, all this stuff.
I know. I'm pretty jazzed by it too.
Let's jump over to the New Orleans Saints, and I really like Jamal Williams and him going to the Saints, especially with Kamara being suspended. It only ended up being 3 games.
Whoever drafted him, nice.
Yeah, let's get Jamal Williams in your lineups while we can. Michael Platt, do you have him as top 24 back and a must start this week against decent Titans defense?
I mean, yeah, they're decent against the run. They suck against the pass. I have him at RB26 right now.
Ooh, okay,
so
all right.
Just outside of RB2. Just because of the matchup mainly. Like I said, they suffer in the secondary. Last year, they allowed the most points per game to wide receivers last year at 40.4 a game. So, and they didn't really do much to fix that. Can you name a cornerback or a safety that they signed in the offseason or even drafted?
No can do.
Exactly. So they're probably just going to pass all over the Titans.
I was going to say, do you think they might be more pass happy now with Derek Carr too as well?
It's a possibility as well. I mean, it is a new quarterback, so I just don't expect an efficient running game here, and that's why it's like Jamal Williams isn't going to get part of the passing game. So if he scores a touchdown, and he will crack probably RB2 status. But if he does not score a touchdown, he's not even going to crack that. He's going to be more like RB3, RB4.
Yeah, I could see that. And then you mentioned the pass catching. Let's talk about these pass catchers. Chris Olave, all about him, especially in this matchup. But we like Juwan Johnson as a sleeper tight end. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the turd Michael Thomas. We've hardly seen him play football. When we did last year, he was efficient, caught touchdowns and stuff. It was nice. But can we really trust him to put him in enough to put him in our lineups this week?
This week, yes. I trust Michael Thomas in weeks 1 and 2 because that's when he went off last year. All right. So, it's the injuries. It's the injuries. It's because he got injured in that second game, or it was the third game. I can't remember exactly what, but it was the injuries that kept him out, and that's his whole fucking mantra now is injuries, and he just doesn't want to play, I guess. But when he does play, last year in week 1, Michael Thomas was wide receiver 8 with 22.7 fantasy points PPR. And then week 2, he was wide receiver 18 with 18.5 points. And you drafted that receiver in the then 6th, 7th round. Now you got Michael Thomas in the 10th round. And
that was also before Olave became what he was.
I understand that. And they had Olave week 1 last year. When Michael Thomas
literally his first game of his career, but
I get that. I understand that, but I do think Olave is the alpha. He's the 1A. But I think Michael Thomas, if healthy, he's the 1B in this offense.
I get it. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
He needs to stay healthy, man. If he can stay healthy,
you got to look at it like this, though. You possibly drafted this guy, Michael Thomas, in the 10th, 11th, 12th round. All right. And if he can come out week 1 and be a top 20 wide receiver, fuck yeah. In the 10th, 11th, 12th round, that's a great steal. It's just how many weeks is he going to do it?
Right.
Yep. I hear you there. We got Tennessee getting 3 points on the road in New Orleans. I actually like the Titans in this one, guys, getting some points here. I'll take the Titans.
Saints.
The
Make a
Titans
decision.
come out slow. I go take the Saints.
Okay.
Titans come out slow usually.
All right. Our next game here, we got the Battle of Ohio. We got the Cincinnati Bengals favored by 2.5 points on the road in Cleveland. And let's just jump right into this backfield. Do you expect Joe Mixon to keep up his success from the last 2 seasons starting this week?
Yep. That's pretty easy.
Just yep.
7th in touches last year, and he was like 50 less carries than he was the previous year. I mean, he's going to get the targets. Who's behind him? Tell me, who's the name?
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown.
Yeah, I was going to say,
alumni.
don't have my guy Chase Brown just catching strays on this show.
He is catching a whole bunch of strays today because he is no competition to Mixon. Expect Mixon the same. I have him as running back 8 or 9.
There's probably like 20 other running backs.
You have him as RB 8 or 9 against the Browns defense too, Ike?
Yeah, because he's just going to get so much work. Who else is going to get it?
I'm really not going
to. They used Samaje Perine in this offense a lot last year. Granted, it was more for the passing.
He's so much better than what Chase Brown is or whatever
a possibility here. Now, granted, I'm not predicting the future, but a possibility here is maybe Joe Mixon assumes the passing role and they give less rushing attempts to Mixon to then ease the workload and give it to Chase Brown. So that way you can use Mixon and he's more fresh throughout the game.
Even if that's the case, in the goal line, it's going to Mixon. So he's getting all the significant touches.
I'm all right with it, man, but he's just so blah.
By the way,
100%.
How about T. Higgins and this contract thing?
Come to Chicago. Just come replace Chase Claypool or
why?
After this
that's
season.
too much guys for a team that's not going to be throwing much, Dylan. Relax. We don't need T. Higgins.
Nope, send it.
He needs to go to the Chiefs.
Don't say that, dude. That'd be for the NFL.
Chiefs don't need any more help.
They need a wide receiver.
Mahomes.
They do.
And Kelsey is 33 years old.
Yeah.
They have.
I'm sorry. Mahomes
steer the
isn't Tom
train
Brady.
back.
He can't
Guys.
lead a team to a win with bad wide receivers.
Let me steer the train back on the tracks, guys. We got to come out.
I want to talk about Jamie's comment, though, about Let's Go Browns pulling off the upset. And then
very well could happen, Mike. So if they're going to do it, it's going to be on the back of this offense. What do we expect from this Browns offense?
Anything is better than what we saw last year. Absolutely anything. Because this offense was miserable, even with Jacoby Brissett. Now, when Deshaun Watson came back, it got even worse, but he was shaking off the rust. So, like, realistically, they cannot get any worse for Watson. All right, he's got one more weapon in Cedric Tillman. Donovan Peoples-Jones is getting a lot of hype. He doesn't have the pass catching back in Kareem Hunt anymore, but that just means Nick Chubb breakout season. Here we come. So this offense is gonna be middle of the pack offense because it's still a run first offense.
Yeah, as it should be. You have Nick frickin' Chubb.
Exactly. But the reason the reason the Browns went out and got somebody like Deshaun Watson, though, is because when they did play games with Baker Mayfield back in the day, they couldn't compete when they were down. All right. When this team gets up and they can run the ball down your throat, good luck. All right. But when they get down, they couldn't do anything. So that's what they went and got Watson out there for. So they have the ability, if they get down, to come back, but that's not what they want to do. They want to run the ball.
Yeah, 100% they do. And their defense is good, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. And when Kevin Stefanski was really good, he was running the football, and I agree, Mike, that's what they're going to do. That's kind of why I'm off Deshaun Watson. I'm not all about him.
But he runs the football, too, and I expect him to – I know he's not a good person. I will never say he's a good person. But he's a good football player, and he's shaking the rust off for the most part.
He's a good football player. We'll see.
We don't know about now.
He's still young, guys. He was a top 6 quarterback in Houston on a worse team.
Top 3, I believe.
Thank you for proving my point even more. So, like, it's possible Watson can be good because of the floor with the legs, and then you just add the passing on. But it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if Deshaun Watson ends up with like 3,500 passing yards just because they don't pass very much. They don't need to.
Yeah, and that would be disappointing for fantasy purposes, I think. But who do you guys got in this one? Cincinnati favored by 2.5. Hi, Al.
Cincy.
I got Cincy on the road as well.
I take the Browns because here's a little nugget for you. Do you guys know the record of the Cincinnati Bengals in the last 3 seasons they played the Browns?
Oh, is it 0-6?
1-5.
2-4. Damn.
The Bengals have beat the Browns 1 time in 6 attempts in the past 3 years.
Yeah, well, now it's going to be 2.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Good stat, Paul. Our next game here, this one's a barn burner. We got the Arizona Cardinals getting 7 points on the road.
Don't you talk shit about Sam
the newly sold Washington Commanders. And
newly purchased?
I'm assuming you're starting James Conner, even though it's like you drafted James Conner. Yay, you got to start him in your lineup. But are we starting anybody else in this offense, like in this matchup against?
First off,
give him the easy question. Why don't you?
You can rag on James Conner all you want, but he averages, when healthy, 16 points a game, all right?
With Josh Dobbs as his quarterback, is that part of the stat?
Granted, this was with Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, and a weird air raid offense, so it could be different. And
we don't have any clue what it's going to look like. No freaking clue.
And they might stack the box on him, but still, you drafted him probably as the running back, too. We have an idea what
it's going to look like. It's going to be unbearable to watch.
I was going to say, yeah. It's,
you draft him as a running back, too. You got to play him. Obviously,
you're playing James Conner, but you remember
you're 100% not excited about it. And
no, you're not watching the game.
I mean, you could be mildly excited. You could be like, "Hey, cool, man." He's got like 16 points a game previously. At least you got that to bank on.
I mean, that's true. But Washington's front is their best asset.
That's true.
But
I mean, I am playing Washington's defense everywhere I can. So,
yeah.
It's a good choice.
Yeah,
but still, James Conner is the one guy you want to start. I would not even touch Marquise Brown with a 10-foot pole. He's a deep threat, and no.
It's going to be like watching.
It's
going to be like watching James Robinson a couple of years ago when the Jaguars were fucking horrible, and it's like just play him. He was a top 15 running back every week.
Just
almost.
Force him into top 15
because of the volume. Just feed him the ball. We got no one else.
Right.
Just stay away from this offense, please.
Jumping over
No
to the Washington Commanders, who are getting some preseason hype after Sam Howell looked good in the preseason. But Mike, let's touch on this backfield real quick. Who do you want in this matchup? You want Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson this week?
In this matchup, give me Robinson. All right. And I'm going to give you the cheat code for this backfield. If it's a positive game script, which means the Commanders are expected to win and they are leading the whole time, you want Brian Robinson in. They're going to run the ball down their throat, or at least attempt to, with Brian Robinson. Now, if it's a negative game script, which means they're trailing the entire time, you're playing Gibson here because you have Eric Bieniemy now as the offensive coordinator, and I expect him to use him because if they use Jerick McKinnon, man, in Kansas City, they're going to use Antonio Gibson.
I agree. I like Antonio Gibson a lot, but I couldn't agree with you more here, Mike, about the game script, to be honest.
That is 100% how you're going to decipher this backfield this year. And then if it's a neutral game script and it's back and forth, not like this game's going to be, I'm a Gibson believer because he gets the targets, which is the high priority touches. And last year he had more red zone carries than Robinson. Now, granted, Gibson played 3 more games than Robinson, but it still shows they plan to use him in the red zone and in the passing game. So those targets are worth more. Those red zone carries are worth more than just getting those carries in between the 20s like Robinson's going to get.
Plus McKissick is gone. So he's going to get all
Exactly. But, like this matchup, we predict the Cardinals to just get ran over by the Commanders. So you're probably leaning Brian Robinson.
You're probably looking at 20 carries from B-Rob.
Very well could see 20 carries. I agree with you there. And then, Mike, we got Terry McLaurin bothered a little bit by turf toe. I know he's a full participant in practice. He's going, which is good to hear. Do you like Jahan Dotson in this matchup with Terry a little bit banged up, or do you like them both here?
I love Jahan Dotson on the year. You're starting Dotson this week. All right, but don't expect a spike week. All right, just because Cardinals might not be able to keep up with the Commanders, and you can't say that very often about the Commanders, a team that can't keep up with them scoring wise.
Yeah.
So
you just got to get it early.
Exactly. So if he's going to score, it's going to be one of the first 2 touchdowns in the game, and then he's probably going to be phased out because they're going to be running the ball to just get the hell out of Arizona. So it might just be a slow-paced game. Oh, they're in. Well, yeah, to get Arizona the fuck. Yeah, to get Arizona to get the fuck out of here. And I mean, how many 3 and outs are there going to be with this Cardinals offense with Josh Dobbs as the starter?
Yeah.
How many?
I think with both offenses, it's going to be quite spectacular.
Josh Dobbs has been there a week and a half and just learning a new offense. It's totally weird stuff going on over there.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals score 0 points or 3 points this week.
Least play game on red zone.
Yes, 100%.
What's the over-under on the amount of plays from that game? Like
4.5?
2? 2.5. We'll make it interesting. 2.5.
That's fantastic. Arizona's getting 7 on the road. I think I'm gonna take the Commanders.
Yeah. Although I would not be surprised just because the Commanders, new quarterback.
The Cardinals get 7?
Yeah, the Cardinals have 7.
We're on Cardinals.
That's a big spread. That's the only reason I'm like, because it's still the Commanders.
Come on, I was going to say you're just talking.
I still think they cover. I still think
they can literally be 10-7, Dylan.
They could be like 20-10 or and that's best case scenario for them, where at least it covers the spread.
Yeah. Next game here we got battle of the NFC South. We got the Carolina Panthers getting 3.5 points on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. Rookie quarterback Bryce Young started for the Carolina Panthers. Ike, do you have confidence starting Miles Sanders in this offense as an RB2, possibly RB1 if you waited on running backs in your draft?
If you waited on running backs and got Miles Sanders, that's pretty good because he's going to get the volume.
Oh, yeah.
Only Chuba Hubbard's behind him. And
that's your boy. Come on.
Not anymore. He is what he is.
Not anymore. He is what he thought we were.
I have Miles Sanders as a top 15 running back this week. You can start him with full confidence. He's good at the volume. Plus, he's saying he wants to get more involved in the passing game, which is possible with Bryce Young being
a
little bit on
Look what Jahmyr Gibbs got last year from Bryce Young. So
right, yeah.
He throws to the running backs.
I like it. Miles Sanders is a good pickup for if you drafted him and for this week.
I'm also curious your thoughts. DJ Chark, no good. He can't be healthy. He's
that
not going to
changes
play
a
in
little
this
bit
one.
more, yeah.
Adam Thielen's banged up too, but he hasn't been ruled out yet.
If he's a go, is he a must start in this one? Because Bryce Young was targeting him a whole hell of a lot in the preseason.
I just don't expect this to be a very high-potent offense game. Yeah. I expect it to be very defensive. So Adam Thielen can get, if he's healthy, if he can get 5 to 7 targets, I guess he's good enough for the flex, but it's risky. I wouldn't really.
I don't know, man. He is going to be the red zone threat outside of Miles Sanders, I think, once they get there.
If they can get there. I mean, the Falcons defense isn't great, but it's improved a little bit this year. But
they threw money at it for sure.
I have Thielen at wide receiver 47, but that was before Chark was rolled out. So I can probably move him up to at least maybe like wide receiver 40s.
I think he needs to be a borderline wide receiver 3 this week, which 40 I think is decent.
I have him at 49. I haven't adjusted it since.
I just don't think he has to get targeted a lot to do a lot of damage, and he has to get a touchdown for him to be relevant, and I just don't think that's going to happen often.
Right on. So you're just fading the hell out of him, huh?
I mean, when you trade away DJ Moore, you fade pretty much every receiver after that left.
Thank you for doing that. Mike,
I like Mingo.
Over.
I love this question, Dylan. It made me laugh.
Good.
You better say it. You better say the
Jumping over to the Atlanta Falcons. We got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. You got to fuck one, kill one, marry one, go.
A little fucked up, man.
I loved it. I'm killing Drake London. I'm fucking Kyle Pitts, and I'm walking down the aisle with Bijan to the fantasy championship. And yes, that is a little biased because I do have Bijan.
No.
Let's face it, guys. It's a run-first offense. It was one of the run-heaviest offenses last year. Then they go out and draft Bijan as a top 10 running back. He is the number one option here. So I will marry Bijan all day.
You know Carolina has a good defense, right?
You know that Bijan is probably going to get the most total touches in this offense at the end of the
year. You're
right,
obviously, because
but he might even get more. He might even get more targets than probably the bottom half of the receiver depth chart.
You can't forget that Tyler Algier is going to play a somewhat role in this, right?
It's you just said it before in the previous matchup. The high value targets are the passing downs, are the targets and the red zone carries, and that's what Bijan is going to get. All right, now this is why
I just think you're a little high on the guy. I mean, fucking fantasy championship. I don't know about that. You expect to do the
you look at the track record of all the running backs that have been drafted in the past 10 years in the top 10 in their rookie season. They have all finished as a top 10 RB. I think it was 8, but I want to play it safe and go 10. But they finished.
Yeah, sweet. Hopefully you're drafting them at running back 8, 9, or 10, not running back 3.
It's just the volume. That's why.
You're drafting them at literally a ceiling that's not obtainable this first year. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
I mean, I didn't think Zeke Elliott could help me win my first championship when he was a rookie.
I will literally bet you $50 right now.
He finished his RB2 his rookie year. So, I mean, it's possible. That's all I'm saying. And he's very talented.
Zeke was on literally a fantastic offense. So,
you're right.
Not to be like that.
I wouldn't say a fantastic offense. I'd say a fantastic offensive line. Not a fantastic offense at that time. In my
I'm pretty sure they were top 5.
They didn't have Kellen Moore. They didn't have Kellen Moore at that time.
Guys,
they were still top 5 or 10 in offense.
I still have other analysis here. If I could let me, share it.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
The reason I'm fucking Kyle Pitts is because if Bijan's the number one option, they're going to be running play action off that running game. And you know as well as I do, the tight ends and play actions tend to benefit quite a bit more than the wide receivers because of the fake draw, bringing in the linebackers in for the run game so the tight end can get over the top and get between the safeties where London is drawing the attention of them. So in this matchup, I'm taking Bijan, Pitts, London, and I don't really want to play London because J.C. Horn, who's a top 10 pick in last year's draft, is probably going to match up on him.
I get it. I feel like if you drafted all three of these guys, or if you drafted any of these three guys, I think you're going to be starting them this week.
If you drafted all three, I'd be like, what the fuck?
London is a little sketchy. I do agree with Mike there, but I do like him rest of season.
I didn't even see Buck's comment. So another expected loss.
I pulled him up on the screen.
You don't know who I think's going to lose yet.
But let's find out. We got Carolina
look,
3.5.
Trent Richardson finished as a top running back in his rookie year.
That up too, man. Get a clue.
Well, then
that's because you gave him 350 carries.
That's Bijan's outcome.
You were babbling. I didn't want to interrupt you like I did 7 times. But we got Carolina getting 3.5 points on the road in Atlanta.
Give me the Falcons.
Wait, who is?
I'm going Falcons as well. Carolina's getting 3.5.
Buck's going to like me and Dylan. He's probably not going to like Ike right here.
I'm going Carolina.
I knew that was coming. That's just a spite, Buck.
Better defense, man.
All right, guys. We're an hour in, and we're getting into the afternoon games. Let's go. We got the Green Bay Packers.
This is the cream of the wheat right here, though. We're going to probably talk about 10 minutes about this match.
No, this sucks, man. I didn't want to do this one.
1 point on the road in Chicago. I think that.
Why'd you give me the Packers?
Because
that is funny. You got the Packers and I got the Bears.
we got some news today. Christian Watson, he's out. He's out this week. So what?
That fucks everything up.
Yeah. What? It's I can't even get this question out. I'm so baffled. Who the hell is going to catch passes for the Packers, guys? Someone tell me, please.
Can I say Luke Musgrave?
He had
a good camp. He had a good preseason.
With Watson ruled out,
he's got talent.
Yeah, I mean, he does have talent.
The
obvious answer.
Romeo Dubes might be out too. It's not looking good.
He's got a
man.
hamstring issue too. It's like Samari Toure. It's
Jaden Reed.
Let's see what he got. I'm not starting him.
Blurb about Malik Heath, the undrafted rookie. There's all sorts of weird names out there.
I would say don't start any pass catcher. Not even Luke
agree
Musgrave.
With Buck. Bring back Donald Driver.
Not even Luke Musgrave. No Romeo Dubes. Even if he's healthy, don't start him.
I'm all over Aaron Jones all season. Is he in the top 10 running back this week? And tell me yes, and move him up in your rankings.
He easily can be a top 3 to 5 running back. He averages 21 points a game against the Bears, man. Past 2 years.
Smash against them. Absolutely.
Yeah, complete smash. If you have him, play him in DFS, play him in whatever single game things you do. If you do Bears versus Packers,
rankings right now,
you 100% need to. He needs to be a top 12 running back, and you were getting him in the 4th round in some drafts this offseason. It's just absolute blasphemy.
Well, I mean, he might come down later in the season, but when it comes to the Bears, he's literally the guy.
Aaron Rodgers was the Bears' daddy, but now that he's gone, Aaron Jones is now the Bears' daddy if he can do what he's been doing with
fantasy.
In
fantasy.
It's the same daddy. It's just another Aaron.
Right.
That damn Aaron.
I like that we're all agreeing on that.
Even Jamie agrees.
Yeah. I agree with that. And then, Mike, jumping over to the Bears side of things, man, oh man, Justin Fields is getting a lot of hype this offseason. This is a big game for his career and for fantasy purposes. I think he could be all right. What's your thoughts on him this week against the Packers?
I mean, your guys are Bear fans. You guys, you love to hate us and you love to watch us fail. What did we suck at the worst last year? Run defense. What do we suck at, for the past 5 years? Run defense. So you can run on us. That's just
I feel like it should be good with Kenny Clark and stuff, man, jamming it up in the middle, or is it more on the outsides?
It's the linebackers. The linebackers can't fill the gap.
More coverage.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like you can't pass on this defense because the secondary, because you got Jair, Eric Stokes is banged up, but you got Chandler.
Andre Campbell's good in the middle.
He's probably the only the best linebacker we have. Hopefully Devontae Wyatt, or not Devontae Wyatt. Who's the linebacker that we drafted from Georgia last year? I can't remember his name. I can't remember it. No, Devontae Wyatt's the D end. But you can't pass really on this defense because they have a good secondary. But you can run on them. Take advantage of it. Green Bay last year was the 9th easiest matchup against running backs. 23.9 points per game allowed. Meanwhile, they were the 12th toughest pass defense, only allowing 30 points per game to them. So, wide receivers only averaged 6 more points playing the Packers than the running backs did. So, I do think Fields and who the hell is going to run this backfield? I think it's going to be Khalil
Herbert to start. Yeah, and I think he's going to have a good game against this Packers defense.
But I don't know how the rest of the season will shape out for this backfield because, Roshan Johnson's got a bunch of hype.
Yeah.
Once the bye week hits, it's going to be Roshan.
I am worried about DJ Moore this week after hyping him up all season with him drawing Jair most of this game. You're starting DJ Moore, but you need to temper expectations because it's
you looked at what they did.
Jair should be on him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you looked at what they did in the preseason. Even if Jair's on him, you throw him screens.
Mm-hmm.
You just throw him screens. He can make the yards after the catch. So.
Yeah, I think if preseason's any indication, he could be a yak monster this year. But yeah, like you said, we're starting Justin Fields, you're starting DJ Moore, and like I said,
those are the only ones confidently I'm starting.
But
I'll throw Herbert
my
in the
flag
flex.
on Khalil Herbert this week.
I'll put him in the flex this week just because of the matchup.
Sure. And then we got the Packers getting a point on the road. I think this line actually moved to 1.5. I think I said that earlier. Who you guys take?
It's probably going to continue to move until Sunday, too.
I'm going to reverse jinx it, and I'm going to go the Packers.
I'm not falling for your reverse jinx, and I'm taking the Packers.
Bears.
I like it.
I raise your jinx with a reverse psychology jinx.
Jumping over to the next one, we got the Philadelphia Eagles get favored by 4 points on the road against the New England Patriots, while the Patriots honored Tom Brady at halftime in this one. But starting with the Eagles, if you had to choose which running back to start in this Eagles offense, who's the man?
Can I start neither of them?
Sure.
And none of them?
Yeah.
If you had to pick, I'd say Swift because he's probably the most productive. He was 3rd in fantasy points per touch last year.
He's also the most hated by the Lions.
Because he couldn't stay healthy.
He's a pass-catching running back in a team that doesn't throw to running backs, right?
Maybe this new offensive coordinator is going to tell him to throw to DeAndre Swift. Okay. I don't know. But as of right now, I'd wait to see how it shakes out and not start any of them.
Yeah, that's fair. I tend to agree there. You didn't waste a ton of high draft capital on him. I guess you probably drafted Swift. Where do you guys think? 6th, 7th, 8th round? I don't quite.
Probably as your right, Mike, you're muted. Probably as running back 3 on your team.
God damn it. But no, you would probably invested too high of draft capital in Swift because you probably got him in the 6th to 8th round as your.
I want to say it's your running back 3 though. If he's your running back 2, we got a problem.
Yeah, it's
even so as your running back 3, you don't want that.
Yeah, no. I wasn't someone who was in on Swift, like I stated earlier. He's a pass catcher running back, and they don't seem to like to check down. So I'm good on all that. But you are starting.
He did look decent in the running game, though. Yeah, he had some big plays. Just I don't know. They got Kenneth Gainwell, he's
weirdly got 6 or 7 touchdowns in every year of his career.
Yeah, it's a weird situation.
Mm-hmm. But you're starting AJ Brown, you're starting Devonta Smith, and if you drafted Dallas Goedert, you're starting him as well. We like this Philly offense outside of the running back position. Let's talk about an offense that we don't really like for fantasy purposes, Mike, and that's the New England Patriots. Outside of Rhamondre, who, like we said, is dealing with a stomach bug, pooping quite a bit. But outside of him, is anyone worth starting in this matchup?
Since it's week 1, there's more optimistic options out there than starting Juju Smith-Schuster. So I would not be starting Juju Smith-Schuster this week.
Fair.
And he's the only one I'd be considering starting. So
Agreed.
pretty much it is just Rhamondre this week. I mean, if Rhamondre, ends up getting a little bit more negative news, like maybe he doesn't recover from the sickness fast enough or whatnot, Zeke definitely gets a little bit more of a bump though, and he might be flex worthy possibly, but it's still a terrible fucking matchup. Yeah. Philadelphia Eagles were top 5 against the defending the run last year, and then they go and add the best D tackle in the draft last year in Jordan.
Hey, don't forget Nolan Smith too.
And they still got Jordan Davis. So I mean, like this defense is stacked, and it's possible.
And Fletcher Cox.
It's possible it's going to be even better than last year. So the matchup's not great, and realistically, you only really want Rhamondre. But you're tempering expectations because there's no ceiling in this game for him.
Yeah, you're just hoping he catches a bunch of passes out of the backfield. Like
probably 6 to 9 is what I think.
Yeah, 6 to 9 targets. I could see that totally happening because of that pass rush that you said, and New England's offensive line is a little bit banged up. But Philadelphia is favored by 4 points on the road. Who you guys taking in this one? I'd go with
Give me the Eagles.
Yep.
Eagles.
Right on. Clean sweep. Going over to the next one, we got the Miami Dolphins getting 3 points on the road, even though it's pretty much going to be a home field advantage for them because there are no Chargers fans, guys. There's just none that exist.
And they do have fans. I mean, they exist. It's just they don't go to the games.
We know we're starting the wide receivers here, but I want to talk to you about if Raheem Mostert is a must start with Jeff Wilson out for at least 4 weeks with being on IR. Is Mostert a top 24 guy for you?
Yeah, most certainly. So only competition would be Devin Akane, a rookie. I mean,
A-Chain.
Yeah, he's going to work on pass downs and stuff.
I actually would be starting Raheem Mostert in most formats, but
I'm starting him over Michael Thomas in our league this year for this week.
It's a good matchup here too, guys. The Chargers run.
It might be a shootout, so he might not be on the field as much.
There was only 2 games this week that got a projected total score of over 50 points. One was the Chiefs last night against the Lions, which that didn't get there. Can you guess the other one?
That's the other one, which might not reach it. But like you said, pass catchers for sure go. I would be starting Raheem Mostert just based off volume, but don't expect anything crazy because it might be a shootout.
Yeah, and you're totally going with Tua Tagovailoa in this matchup too. If you drafted him, I think you're starting him over other options here as long as you don't have a top 8 guy.
Plus, the Chargers suck at the run, so that's another reason to start.
Yeah, they do.
It's fun to watch. It's going to be awesome. Let's head on over to the Chargers side of things.
Hey, you finally stopped jumping.
New offensive coordinator. I've lost my train. Kellen Moore. Yes, Kellen Moore is now in LA. Eckler. He saw a ton of pass volume in previous years. I'm curious to see if that continues or if we're going to see this offense be a little bit different. But you're starting him either way. You're starting Keenan Allen. But outside of those guys in Justin Herbert, Michael Plant, who are you starting in this matchup?
So, I mean, I already talked about it. I think this is going to be the second highest scoring game of the – if not the highest scoring game of the week. Miami's allowed the second most points to quarterbacks last year behind only Detroit. So if Herbert and the Chargers come out fast, I fully expect the Dolphins to be able to respond just as fast back with Waddle and Hill. So that's why I really think there's a lot of shootout potential here. And we love seeing that in week 1 of the season. So give me some Mike Williams. And, if you are looking for a Kelsey fill-in, like I did not go with Gerald Everett, but he is another solid option out there.
Sure.
He did cross my mind. Instead, I went with Juwan Johnson, just a little bit more potential volume, but Gerald Everett is a solid option for a touchdown this week.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. So you're playing 2 Saints players in their home league?
I told you I'm starting Raheem Mostert in the flex over Michael Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Because of the Juwan Johnson starting at tight ends.
Proceed.
That's the end of it.
We got the Dolphins getting 3 on the road in LA. Give me the Dolphins here.
Chargers.
I What is it? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's it's Chargers at home. Give me the Chargers. I think they come out hot with Kellen Moore.
Agreed.
Right on. The last afternoon game we got here, the Las Vegas Raiders getting 4 points on the road against the Denver Broncos. Like, with Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, both, let's just be fair, they're a little pissed off. Are you worried about them for fantasy purposes and this offense as a whole with Jimmy Garoppolo there? Josh McDaniels just kind of seems like an ass. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these guys here.
You just answered my question. I'm not worried that they're disgruntled, but I'm worried because it's Jimmy G at the helm.
Me too.
I'm worried about Devontae Adams because last year he made his living off those big touchdowns. Like, you constantly saw 40-yard touchdowns, 50-yard touchdowns. And his completion percent or catch percentage was low because he was dealing with Derek Carr. It can be even lower with Jimmy Garoppolo.
100%.
So, plus, he won't be getting as much deep threats. The talent is there, but I'm a little worried. I think Josh Jacobs is going to get his. Obviously, he's going to be the focal point of the offense still, but temper expectations on Devontae.
Yeah, Devontae was someone that I was fading at ADP this offseason just because they traded away his best friend. I know, laugh at it all you want, but it made him not want to be there. And he even said in this offseason that him and the front office were on similar pages. So that scares me. And we saw the Josh Jacobs stuff. He just reported last week. He doesn't want to really be there either. But I could see them running him into the ground. He's going to get his work, like you said, Ike. So these guys are both must starts if you have them, obviously. But they're kind of wild cards, in my opinion, on what you're going to get.
I just got to chime in here. You guys remember back in the day when you'd break up with a significant other, and then you'd see him with somebody else, and you'd be like, psh, that's nothing compared to me. That's how I feel about Devontae Adams right now with the Raiders. It's like, man, you wanted to leave the Packers and go to this shit show of a ran organization. Like, I get it. He wanted to get paid, but man, he has really thrown his Hall of Fame, career on a hard trajectory playing with these quarterbacks now.
Yeah, the only thing he upgraded in was the looks of the quarterback because Jimmy Garoppolo is one handsome motherfucker, so.
He dates porn stars, bro.
I love it. I love that.
That's a good one.
You might be right. You might be right.
Carlson, that's like Sky. He loves him there. But looking at the Denver Broncos, Mike, bounce back with Sean Payton. We'll see. Maybe we find out this week in a really good matchup. And let's just say Russ Man smashed against the Raiders last year in week 4 with like over 25 fantasy points, I want to say. So if you're going to start Russ and you drafted if you drafted Russ, this is the week where you want to play him. But let's talk about the pass catchers where it's just a nightmare right now with Tim Patrick getting hurt, being out for the season, KJ Hamler getting released because of a medical issue. Cortland Sutton is just looking like he's lining up to be a target hog in this offense with the rookie Mims. Mike, is Cortland Sutton a top 36 guy for you this week?
Top 36. I'll be honest with you, I gotta check that one. But yeah, he is. He's 31st for me right now.
As I say, he needs to. If you roster him, he should be starting in this matchup because it's a great one. And I hate Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, I mean, your question in the show sheet was, Cortland Sutton or Marvin Mims. Just to answer that, it is Cortland Sutton. Marvin Mims probably later in the season, depending on how Jerry Jeudy's injury, recovery goes. But I think Cortland Sutton is a top 36 wide receiver this week, but I'm sitting Marvin Mims just to see what he has first.
That's fair.
And then
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say your next question, I was going to lead on to it.
Yeah,
because I already kind of
I was gonna say you already touched on Javonte earlier, so you're really not in on Javonte this week. Since you're a little weary on him, are you more in on P.O.K. starting P. Ryan as he's going to have a role? We know how Sean Payton likes to use multiple running backs. Are you okay going with him?
Did you say Javonte or P. Ryan?
P. Ryan.
Sorry, I didn't. I need another beer to open my ears. But yeah, I do like P. Ryan this week. I think here's the thing. If you were somebody that drafted Breece Hall, all right, who's going to come out the gate slow, P. Ryan is who you should have drafted in the back end because he's going to come out strong. And then when Javonte Williams probably gets his feet underneath him, he's going to probably take the majority of the workload, and that's when you're flopping Breece Hall with Samaje P. Ryan. You know what I mean? When Breece Hall, by the time Samaje P. Ryan cools off, Breece Hall is probably going to be coming on. So, like,
who do you think's going to get the Alvin Kamara role and the Mark Ingram or whatever in that Sean Payton defense?
It's going to be Javonte getting the Alvin Kamara role. I mean, he saw it last year a little bit with Russell Wilson already with the targets. So it's going to be him. It's just I don't trust the leg. Coming from someone who's had 5 knee surgeries and none of them have been multi-ligament injuries, it sucks. So now getting hit by these 250 plus 300-pound men in that knee too, like that's what I'm worried about. It's not that he doesn't look good. It's like, how is he going to look after he has a game of wear and tear on him? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I hear that. But the matchup is so good, and if you drafted Javonte, you want to throw him out here. I think it's...
Well, the Raiders were terrible at defending QBs. They allowed the most QB1 finishes last year. So it's like, yes, you were right about playing Russell Wilson. But if the quarterback's going to go off, I mean, how much realistically is the running back going to go off?
Maybe Javonte, maybe the running backs are catching dump-offs, kind of like you
stated
a little earlier. But, yeah, we'll see. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued at this offense and how it looks as a whole. And if Russell Wilson stops kissing babies, maybe they'll be able to figure it out. Sean Payton's such a character, guys. He's an interesting fellow there.
He's blunt.
But we got the Raiders getting 4 points on the road. Give me the Broncos here, in the thin air of Denver. Give me the Broncos.
I go Broncos.
I don't think the Raiders are competitive this year.
No, and just the coaching difference.
Although Jimmy wins, man. Jimmy wins games.
Yeah, when Kyle Shanahan's your coach.
And you have a really good defense.
Yeah.
This is true.
Guys, we're into the night games here. We got Sunday Night Football and an NFC East divisional battle between the Dallas Cowboys, who are favored by 3.5 points on the road against the New York Giants. Ike, is Tony Pollard him in this offense now?
No, it's CeeDee Lamb.
I love it. Right on.
CeeDee Lamb's the guy, but Tony Pollard is easily a top 10 running back all year, top 10 this week. He's going to get the volume. He's going to get the pass catching. He's the guy for sure, at least in the running game.
So this Giants defense is improved. Do you think
that is something I do want to say? The Giants defense is pretty sneaky good, actually.
Yeah.
Kayvon Thibodeau is in his second year. They got Dexter Lawrence too. So, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, the D-line is pretty good.
Outside of CD and Tony, are you fading everyone else like Brandon Cooks, Dak Prescott? Like, just for instance, in our home league, I have Geno Smith and I have Dak, and I'm leaning Geno Smith here.
Not bad, but it is worth saying that Dak hasn't lost to the Giants in quite some time.
I'm going to have to check you on that.
Look it up. But it's been a while, so you aren't wrong for starting. Who was it again over him?
I'm sorry?
Who are you starting over him again?
On what?
Over Dak. Who are you starting over Dak?
Geno.
Yeah, you're not wrong in that because obviously the defense is better for New York, but still, Dak has Giants' number for the most part.
Yeah, I hear you there. Jumping over to the Giants, Mike. Where do you have Daniel
Dak
Jones?
Prescott has owned the Giants. He's 10-2 versus them in his career.
That's pretty crazy.
But to your question, where do I got Daniel Jones ranked this week? QB 15. So he's got a tough matchup. Yeah, you're talking about the Giants defense being sneaky. The Dallas defense is sneaky and it's just overall good. So like Daniel Jones is going to have a tough week this week, in my opinion. If he does have a solid week, it's because he ran for 80 yards. Outside of that, though, I don't think he's he's a QB1 this week.
Yeah, it's an awful matchup against Dallas. It's extremely tough. Extremely tough. Who's your guy in this offense outside of Darren Waller, who's banged up with a hamstring injury? I should mention that. Jeez, man. Come on. And anyone outside of him and Saquon pique your interest in this offense?
So this week, not really. But I mean, you wanted me to plant my flag on a Ravens receiver. I'm going to plant my flag on a receiver in this core because it's even more fucked up of a bunch. And it's Jalen Hyatt. I really do believe in the rookie Jalen Hyatt. Just like ever since he had that just explosive 3-touchdown game against Alabama in the college playoff. Like, let's be honest, Alabama is NFL talent.
Mm-hmm.
And he scored 3 touchdowns against them. So, like, he can play in the NFL. So it's just a matter of how much is he involved in this offense. So I'm planting my flag on Jalen Hyatt. I really do think he's going to be the guy this year. It's just a matter of it's probably that second half breakout that we're usually seeing from a rookie wide receiver.
Yep, that's totally fair. And we got Ike out here gallivanting, Mike. So let me just ask you who you got in this game. Dallas get favored by 3.5 on the road. Give me Dallas here.
Yeah, give me Dallas as well. It is going to be a close battle, and I mean, if it was 2.5 or like 3 right on the dot, I'd probably take the Giants to cover.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's 3.5, I mean, I do think like it's going to be a 3-point game in my opinion. I just don't know the total score.
Yep, for sure. And guys, I'm going to jump back into the afternoon games. I actually forgot a game. We have the Los Angeles Rams.
And this is your fault this time,
totally
not mine.
My fault. At the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm not sure what the line is offhand. But let's talk this Rams offense without Cooper Kupp. You're not starting Matthew Stafford anymore. I am curious your guys' thoughts here if Van Jefferson is a start. I'm rolling out Cam Akers. You might as well. Outside of him,
Cam Akers for sure.
Yeah, but are we getting in the van this week?
I have him at wide receiver 39. Do you remember what you ranked him at? I did give him a boost because of the Cooper Kupp news, but it's
not that high, but I think he's around that range.
Just because, like, we are dealing with a good secondary in Seattle. They got Tariq Woolen. I'm curious to see if Devin Witherspoon, how well he does. So
I think he's actually
not playing.
banged up, and it's not sounding like he's going to play, Mike.
He's not sounding like he's going to play.
Out.
Yeah.
I did not know about that, so thank you for that. But still, I mean, Van Jefferson, if he's the guy, he's going to line up against Tariq Woolen, who is a damn good corner. So, like, I don't even want to start, like you said, Matthew Stafford. Like, I guess the only one I would confidently start just because the position is a goddamn wasteland, Tyler Higbee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point there. I like that point there. He saw 90-something maybe it was like 107 or something last year. And I could see
that was
him,
with Cooper Kupp, half the season there.
Yeah, I could see him being peppered with targets. That's a good call there, especially if you were looking for a Travis Kelce replacement. And then let's just touch on Seattle's offense. Little surprising with Jackson Smith and Jigba with that wrist injury could be starting or could be playing in this one.
Bump for Tyler Lockett still.
Yeah, I'm still okay with starting Tyler Lockett. I'm okay with DK, but we got to touch on this backfield, guys. Kenneth Walker struggling with the groin injury. Zach Charbonnet, I saw, was RB3 on the depth chart behind DJ Dallas now. It's like, are we starting anybody here? Like, are we comfortable with Kenneth Walker?
I am. Now, granted, I am starting him in our home league. All right. But we're facing the Rams, guys. They have like 30 undrafted free agents on that defense. So, like,
don't be surprised if he gets ruled out, man. That groin's not looking good.
I haven't heard. I'm the news guy, right? Do you guys agree I'm the news guy?
I don't care if you're the news guy.
I have not seen any negative
I don't care if you're the news
about
guy.
Kenneth Walker.
I'm the right guy. All right.
The right. You're the right guy. You're the doctor guy. You're the injury guy. I mean,
the whole shebang, baby.
Oh. Even the guy who leaves mid-show.
It is a great matchup, but I'm worried about his health. And groin injuries can be pesky, so that
like James Walker or James Cook in a league, like
James Cook. At least he's
against
healthy.
the Jets.
That
At least
matchup's
he's healthy.
not good. Yeah, that matchup's not good either.
At
That's
least
against the Jets.
he's healthy.
I have
I think I go James
Shefty,
Cook
I
there,
have
too,
Tom
Jamie.
Pelissero, I have Mike Garafolo, I have all these guys on notifications. So if we get these news injuries, and I have not seen anything about Kenneth Walker,
All right.
Those are just names to me.
they're NFL insiders.
That's fair, guys. But yeah, I want to say Seattle's favored by 5.5 at home, guys. I'm going to lead Seattle in this one.
I'm surprised it's not more, honestly, with Cooper Kupp out.
Yeah.
Seattle.
I lean Seattle too. It's going to be an easy 1-0 start for Seattle.
All right, guys, we're here. Everyone's been waiting for it. Monday Night Football, the goddamn Jets. We got Buffalo Bills favored by 2.5 points in New Jersey, taking on the Jets. Like, does this matchup scare you for James Cook? Well, we kind of just talked about it. I know you're taking him over Kenneth Walker, but you're okay against him with him against the Jets.
I have to now. I stamped the flag on it. It's not a great matchup. You'd like to think that hopefully he gets a decent amount of targets because he is pretty productive in that area, and he wasn't too bad on the ground last year either. So I mean,
he's efficient as all hell. Breakaway run rate, you name it.
He's gonna get a decent amount of work. Will he get the goal line? Probably not. That's probably going Josh Allen or Damian Harris if he's healthy. I don't know I'm sure he's healthy. I'm pretty sure. So I mean, temper expectations. If you have someone better, like maybe a Javonte Williams, I'd probably play over James Cook. I would.
How about Cam Akers or James Cook?
Cam Akers for sure.
Rhamondre
I'll
Stevenson
take Cam
or
Akers.
James
Rhamondre.
I'll take Stevenson. Yeah. I mean, like, come on, Javonte Williams, the guy.
Over James Cook, yeah.
We're done
over
with
James
Javonte
Cook.
tie.
For one, Javonte is significantly more talented than James Cook will ever be.
Is this with the injury or without it?
I don't. Stop saying the ACL injury is so bad now.
It's not just an ACL; it's an ACL, an MCL, and a PCL. Like it was a multi-ligament injury.
People get over injuries, man. Cam Akers had an Achilles injury. Look at him; he's going to drop a top 10 running back this week.
That's cool. That's in his ankle, not his leg.
Achilles, Michael Plant. Achilles.
I know. Kevin Durant came back from
my
Achilles injury.
Goddamn guy, Gabe Davis. And where do you have him ranked? Do you have him as a wide receiver 3 in this tough matchup against the Jets?
I mean, Sauce won't be on him, so he could be getting a.
DJ Reed's still not nice out there, man. It's not good.
I'm usually the Gabe Davis hater. You're supposed to be being like, all right, cool. Gabe Davis is the guy this week. He's going to burn DJ Reed. I think he will. I think he's going to be a significant part of the offense. I would be starting him as a wide receiver 3 flex for sure.
I'm really curious on the flow of this game. Like, are the Jets going to want to just be like when Rodgers was with the Packers? They were always 32nd, 31st, 30th in
slow pace of play.
Like, is this game?
Bills don't play that way though.
It's like a battle.
They're gonna have to play to the Bills.
Yeah, is it gonna be a 20-17 game here?
Unless that defense is as good as everybody thinks it is.
If it's gonna be a 20-17 game, I don't want Gabe Davis.
I want to hear your thoughts on this just real quick. DJ Reed came out and talked to the press and said, we're probably as good as a defense as the 85 Bears.
Yeah. No.
Exactly. So do you think that defense is that? I mean, yeah, it's good. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, it is still the Buffalo Bills offense.
The difference in this is it's so hard to compare. The 85-86 Bears ran a 46 defense, guys.
True.
I guess, do the Jets have a premium pass rusher? Not really.
Quentin Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but he's not.
Did you not watch Hard Knocks, man? He got 11 sacks in practice in the joint practice. The one episode, the most in any.
I mean, like premium sack where you're getting 15, 20 sacks a year, and he's literally.
That's Quentin Williams. Quentin Williams.
I don't know if
Quentin Williams has that potential. He does.
I mean, with the Bills' offensive line, sure, being that they're not great, but I'm interested. I'm really interested in this game.
This isn't Leonard Williams. This is Quinnen Williams.
I know.
Let's head on over to the New York Jets. Let's talk about him here. How do you see this backfield shaking out?
Oh, yeah.
I already kind of touched on it a little bit. Breece Hall's going to come out slow. He's probably going to – his was only an ACL injury. It's not like Javonte where he had multi-ligaments. So Breece Hall will probably come back a little bit faster than Javonte. So I think Breece Hall is probably going to be slow like for first 3 to 4 weeks. So it's going to be Dalvin Cook those first 3 to 4 weeks, just, giving Breece Hall the ability to heal. But once Breece Hall is healthy, I'm sorry, Dalvin Cook is going to be the secondary role. It is Breece Hall when he is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm telling you right now, it's going to be before Javonte Williams.
Ooh, I don't believe that, man.
Javonte's already going to play a big role Sunday.
Mike,
well, the Jets are being smarter. The Jets are being smarter by not playing him.
That's what changed. That's the difference between good organization and a bad one.
Mike, 30 seconds. Aaron Rodgers, top 12 quarterback this week. Yay or nay? And just tell me no. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. The Bills have a pretty tough defense, and I kind of agree with you, Dylan, about
no Von Miller though.
That's true. But the secondary is still pretty solid with Micah Hyde. I mean, you got Jordan Poyer, the corners. Yeah, the corners are pretty good. The corners last year, because of Tre'Davious White's injury, got a lot of experience. So I would not be surprised.
Don't forget about Matt Milano.
I mean, you got the Christian Bernard guy, I think it is too. He's pretty good. He got a lot of experience. So the cornerbacks are gonna be tough. So it's going to be a slow pace of play. Bench Aaron Rodgers this week, guys.
Yep. I agree. Guys, we did it. We did our first game preview show of the season.
Did you already put that?
I did throw that up there. Yep. I appreciate all the comments, guys.
They were fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Andrew,
we love talking with you guys.
Here. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. If you're looking for more content, guys, the Sunday Social will be back this Sunday with myself and Micah Plant, and we're doing it a little different this year.
Kind of doing it like just a little sneak peek here. It's kind of going to be like a radio show.
We're starting at 10:45 Eastern time. Joe Bond's coming on for 15 minutes with us to talk about
initial rankings, because that's going to change before the game's hit.
And then for an hour, we got Jordan Schultz, who's our dynasty guy. He's coming on to do the start sit with Mike and myself. And then the last half hour of the show, we have our DFS guys actually coming over to finish it out. Chris Robin, a.k.a. Detroit Beastie, and Dave Eddy, a.k.a. Corporal Eddie on Twitter. So make sure to be there on Sunday and listen to them as they talk DFS, because they're out to win you some money this week. But if you guys don't have anything to add, I think we could just close it out.
Subscribe to fantasy6pack.net/plans if you guys want the cheat code named Dave Eddy and Chris Robin to help win some money in DFS, guys. Seriously, they are worth every penny.
I feel like I just said
I wanted to reiterate it because it is that important. Like, if there is one, the rankings are cool. We're, I understand we're top 5 in rankings, top 10 in rankings, but DFS, if you want to win some money on Sunday, get that membership.
For Mike and Ike, I'm Dylan. We'll talk to you guys next week.